Good morning. We trust that all of you are doing well, and it's a beautiful day out today, and we just wanted to connect with you once again. For the past several weeks, every Tuesday we've been meeting as elders to just discuss ministry, and in particular, of course, every time we're together we discuss the whole issue around the pandemic and so forth, and are wanting to regather. So we wanted to talk a bit about that, and we have made a decision. We're shooting to regather on the second Sunday in July, which is July 12th. And I have to be honest, I told Paul this morning that it's really like a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you, to think about gathering people together once again and being together again and worshiping together again. So we're real excited about it and the opportunity to just move forward like that and so forth. Yeah. And certainly what that will mean, though, and I think everybody's aware of this, whether it's church or going out to a restaurant or whatever else, it means it's not going to look exactly the same as what it has in the past. So there's some things that we'll be sending out, some just guidelines and so forth as far as our gathering on Sunday mornings. And so that's honestly, that's been one of the things we've talked a lot about, is what does this look like? Yeah, for us to regather.
Yeah, and it will not be what we've been doing before the COVID thing, for sure. We're not returning to a social event in that sense. But one of the things that's actually really helped shape our thinking is considering the persecuted church around the globe, and the secret church that we've been a part of with Dave Platt and Radical Ministry thinks about these things too. So you've got these persecuted Christians that are all over the globe, and in many places they're not free to meet like we are. Like, we really don't get our hands around this because it's not our context at all. But there are places in the world where these people, they can't just go to a building or any place publicly and gather, and so they meet in secret. And some of these places they'll meet even in caves or very remote places, and they can't make much noise, so they whisper their worship. They can't just sing out like we do. They don't have bands, they don't have lights. They whisper their worship to God. And what you hear from these people is that it's very sweet. And now they're whispering because if they make too much noise, the government will find them and come and shoot them. And they're avoiding that. And they can't carry their Bibles because if they're caught with the Bible, it's the same thing. So they memorize amazing amounts of Scripture. It would put us to shame. And so this is their life. And yet they long to be together. And so they gather in secret. They whisper their worship. They are so hungry to be gathered around the Word and to be together. And so thinking about that has really shaped our thinking too. That we don't need to protect every mechanic of our current service or what we did even before the COVID thing to meet. And so when we meet together, it will be very different. But if these persecuted brothers and sisters around the globe are any indicator, this could be a very good thing for us. It could be a very sweet thing for us as we consider the centrality of Christ in our gathering. The best part of church is Jesus Christ. The building is a tool, that's great. A cave, in a sense, is a tool. Hymnals are a tool, a screen. Those things aren't wrong. They can be tools, but the beauty of our gathering is Christ. And then His redeemed people gathering for that purpose, assembling for that purpose. And so we're moving forward with that in mind, that this will be very different.
Yeah, in fact, as we discussed it, we feel like that very well could be one of the things that God is doing within His church in the midst of this pandemic is really teaching us some things about worship. And that doesn't mean at all that the worship and the practices we've had in the past are wrong. We're not saying that at all. In fact, we believe they're very biblical. Right. To gather together physically, to lift up our voices together physically, to be centered around the Word, all of that is very biblical. So we're not at all saying that what's happened in the past is wrong. But there may be some things He's wanting to teach us. In fact, that you brought out this morning, that we've had to make adjustments, all of us, the past 2 or 3 months in our worship. And we have made those adjustments, and we are worshiping God when we gather, even though it's through a live stream, we're still worshiping God. So we have made those adjustments, and so we continue to do that in what we're doing.
So we're adjusting the context that we're in, just like persecuted believers all around the globe. their worship is a little different than maybe what we do because our context is different.
Exactly right.
We're not worried about getting shot. That can kind of be a reality in our culture right now. We're concerned about getting each other sick, and for the vulnerable in particular, we're taking every step we can to be careful, to treat it seriously. So
there are legitimate reasons why, and we would all agree, I'm sure you would, why we haven't gathered is because of the pandemic and the coronavirus and so forth. So we want you to be aware of what date we're shooting for, the July 12th, and also we'll be sending out more information, talking to you more about exactly what that looks like. We've been talking through some of the details of what our gathering would be like and what it would look like on a Sunday morning, and we'll be sending that information out to you.
Yeah. So we love you. We are very much looking forward to taking the step in faith and being cautious, being careful, but being together, and trust that God's grace has been sufficient through all of this, and we'll continue to trust in God's grace, His goodness, His plan.
So have a good day.